Hi everyone, it's Zara Altair. This is the Midweek Zap, and we're live streaming. And guess what? We're going to be talking about live streaming today with Johan Claeys. And so, Johan, please introduce yourself for folks who don't know who you are.
Well, actually, I'm a person who lives in Brussels, in Europe, and in fact, you can see me as someone who is multilingual. So I speak fluently 3 languages. But you can look at me as a digital marketing strategist. So I'm more focused on listening to clients and watch what they need with regarding to live events, and see what kind of solutions that I can help them, especially with cloud solutions. And that's also a little bit the name of my organization, Pair of Wings, where where it's more of showing the potential of these solutions so that people can enjoy the freedom of working when and where they please. So while these people are knowledge workers and occupational nomads, for the rest I
Well,
have, yes.
yeah, I'm really glad we had a different topic in mind when we first got together several months ago. And when we were chatting last week, um, Johan suggested this as a topic, and I thought it was really great because people are really confused about what's the best and what to do. And I know Sally Sue Ember is here today, and she just had a post on Google Plus yesterday, like, what is the best solution for what I do? And she interviews authors. So I know you have a demonstration for us today. So I want to thank you very much for doing all that prep work. I really appreciate it, Johan. So why don't you just start in?
Well, I'm not going to start immediately with the demo because, in fact, what I would like to say is you can't really say that there is one platform better than the other.
Right.
So we're now in a revolution of live stream and webcasting solutions. And we see, in fact, appear in a lot of live stream solutions like Meerkat, like Periscope, which are in fact great solutions, but they tap into a different audience. Huh? So if you look at these solutions, they are very Twitter oriented, and well, it reminds me of in the sea, the submarine, where you put up the periscope to watch what is around, what can what do we see when we are here, and mirroring, in fact, the sightseeing to an audience who can give their necessary comments. So I can imagine that these kind of live streaming apps, because these are especially apps, it's really focused on mobile. So people will especially use iPhones and Android phones and tablets in order to be able to watch and broadcast through these live streaming apps. And then, of course, we have the well-known medium that we use actually today, and with which you have more experience than myself, Zara, which are the Hangouts. And so there we are at the other side of the sphere, let's say, with regarding to live streaming, where, as from my point of view, I consider it still as an environment where quality content is really shared through a live audience, and yeah, where it's also very professional, well prepared, you say. So setting up a hangout show is something which requires some preparation, some briefings.
Right. Um, Johan, some of the people in the audience are having a hard time hearing you. And I know we checked before the show and you said your volume was up as much as it could be. So if you could speak up, I think people would appreciate it.
Well,
But yes, I like that the idea of the formal presentation and that the Hangout on Air is very much complementary to a formal presentation, especially when there's any kind of screen sharing involved, where you want to share illustrations of one kind or another. I know on this show, the Midweek Zap, we've had a number of times when people shared their screen, especially for technical things. So for the size, and then when we have had several shows that revolved around Nodex, and also for the Panda with William Rock, you know, those just couldn't have happened. That they wouldn't have been as powerful or as informational without that screen sharing capability. And I know that the other day I was somewhere, I think it was a Blab, and Scott Scowcroft was saying, yes, you can share a screen, but it took, I think it was 2 different extra applications and coordinating them in order to do a screen share on Blab. And so Blab is fairly complicated for presentations and sharing screens at the moment. Can you check your volume, because the number of people are having trouble hearing you?
Well, is this better?
That's better. What did you do?
Well, yeah, it's the magic of the Hangout system.
Oh, okay, fantastic.
So, for one reason or another, this in the settings he points to the wrong microphone. So I'm glad that you brought this up, and I adapted accordingly. So that's good. So
much better. Yes.
Up and running.
Thank you. Okay.
So, but you were referring to Blab, and indeed, it's still in beta. So we have to be aware that the product is might have issues still today, but I like the environment because it's in fact a live streaming environment where you can in fact keep a live event with 2 to 4 people simultaneously and all in one screen. And it bridges, in fact, a little bit the people coming from the Twitter sphere, the periscopers, and people who are on those Meerkat live streaming apps that I referred to previously. And you see that they're really trying to balance these people over to the Blab environment. And then we have also experienced that some of our hosts here who are doing their regular Hangout shows are also doing after Blabs or after shows for chit chat on Blab. So as from my point of view, it has really found a niche. Yeah? So it's really bridging, in fact, audiences from different environment. And in fact, yeah, what I like also is, in fact, the more no-nonsense approach which you experience when you are in Blab. There is, of course, always a Blab etiquette which you need to respect, of course. But you see mostly that these Blabs can go really for a huge long time. So there are Blabs who are taking hours, multiple hours even, and where you see a kind of a carousel where people can, in fact, in Blab, where they're working with a kind of seat system, and there are 4 seats, and even the host can leave the seat if he wants. So the Blab will continue. And you see a kind of hop in, hop out mechanism where people take the seat just to give a comment or to ask a question and leave the Blab immediately. So it's really another experience, and where you also have...
I have a question about that.
Yes.
With that, there's still only 4 people on screen at one time. Mm-hmm. And that is controlled by the host, correct?
That's correct. if he wants, the host, he's in fact a power user, so he can decide, in fact, in order to stop opening seats. So he might do a monologue if he wants to. So he could go in and say, "Well, I'm not opening no more seats.
The reason I asked, because people go to Blab after their formal HOA, but my favorite HOA after party was the After Dark HOA after party. After Dark is no longer broadcasting, but it was so wonderful. And we usually had the full house, which is what, 10, right? And everybody could talk. And so there was no, wait, can I have a turn? Put me on, I have a question. It was very interactive. That was one of the reasons I loved it so much. It was very interactive and lots of fun. And so okay. And so there's that interaction of a larger group of people still at this point in time is not available in Blab. And then Sally Sue Ember has a comment here. I just attended a short Blab in which everyone was talking and trying to figure it out. I found it confusing, overwhelming, and too many people talking at once. Didn't like it at all. And also she had another comment I love. Blab is well named though. And I have to agree that it's, I don't know, to me Blab is fun.
It's fun. It's really fun. But
There's
I can understand Sally Sue.
But it's not from a business standpoint. From a business standpoint, I'm not so sure that it's the best way to connect. I think, in Blab, when you're connecting with other people and the stream is going by, there's a stream on the right-hand side of the screen.
It's a chat. Yeah, where you
can chat. If there are a lot of people there, it's impossible to read all the comments because it's going by so quickly. And there's no way, as in a Hangout on air, where you can bring a comment up on the screen so everybody in the audience can see it and take it away. So that is not available at this time in Blab.
That's correct. I agree that, in fact, in Blab, when you're in a popular Blab, because when you have a lot of comments, it's mostly in very popular Blabs where there's a lot of engagement. It might be very overwhelming. And in fact, when you're new to Blab, I can understand Sally Sue when she said, well, there's a lot of chit chat and everybody's talking to each other. I can understand that you experience, that you have such an experience. It means also that a lot depends on the host, because he's in the driver's seat and will in fact decide who will come up, who will not come up. We'll also decide about the format of the Blab, because as you know, Blabs can also be recorded just like a Hangout. So it means that when you say, okay, to the crowd, well, actually, we're going to do a recorded session. We're going to limit this number of seats. We will open the seats after 25 minutes. We will try to keep up with the questions you have. So you have, in fact, a kind of, as a host, you need to prepare your audience. And what is great is, from business perspective, I think Blabs will be interesting for podcasters because you can record it. So you could actually decide to put that recorded version, which you'll receive after the show through an email. You will receive an MP4 and an MP3 file.
And an MP3, and so that makes it very easy to translate that into a podcast because the MP3 is already there.
Right. So you don't need a software like Audacity in order to split up the video and the audio in order to be able to upload it to Libsyn or another hosting provider of MP3s in order to use it and repurpose it for your podcasting. And yeah, of course, you can also repurpose it to YouTube. Huh? So you can actually upload it to YouTube. And what is also very interesting is that you also receive a kind of embed code, which enables, in fact, to host a recorded Blab onto your website. So this is also something which I like, because it's very interesting to being able to put that on a blog post or on your website in order to gain more, to have more. You can use it, in fact, to show that you're an expert in the matter, for example, or you can use it for testimonial purposes. If you have a customer on the Blab and he talks about your business and experiences, well, it can also help you with driving more engagement through the fact that people are experiencing you as an expert.
Yeah, so but I just want to point out for those who don't know that Hangouts on Air and Crowdcast both have that embeddable capability, so that your broadcast you can embed on your website.
Right, right. And this brings us to a topic that we haven't covered yet, and that's correct. It's Crowdcast. Where does Crowdcast fit in? Huh? Well,
before we go to Crowdcast, Wiwick has a comment. He has an analogy. I really like it. Here's my analogy. Blab is like a drawbridge which connects the moat around your HOA castle. The moat is filled with alligators, and so to keep nasty people away, people would say hello, and you drop the drawbridge and allow them to cross the moat. Then you converse with them and make a decision as to whether to allow them into your castle or not. Your castle is your HOA show. You allow only trustworthy people into your castle. That's a really good point.
I find that correct. What Vivicananda refers here is correct. Hangouts is really the castle. It's really where people who are truly connected with each other are going to meet and converse. But don't forget that Blab is also a conversation platform. It's a conversation platform and also a kind of connecting platform, but it's more informal. So what is Blab to Twitter is Hangouts to Google+. It's not, I cannot say it in a better way. So Twitter is with short messages, 140 characters, and Blab is also a kind of speedy conversation, chit-chat, conversational platform, in fact, where great information is shared, by the way.
We have a quote from Shana Delane. For your information, he says, quote, "Your tongue tends to say more about you when it blabs about other people," unquote. Rochelle E. Goodrich. Love it. Blab equals reveal secrets, value by indiscretion, I think you mean. Discreet talk or showing expertise. HOA, it has no ending. Forward and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
So thanks.
It's a great comment.
Yeah, great now, and then whoops, Wiwick again points out a technical point about Blab videos, and that is that Blab will not go to YouTube, so you have to upload it to YouTube, take care of the tags, titles, etc., etc., etc.
Again, Vivicananda is correct. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. It's workload. Huh? You need to upload it. You need to put the tags. You need to perhaps transcribe the video. So, okay, that's a lot of workload. I do agree. But what you also can do is, in fact, repurpose the video as you like, of course. But I would like also to stress a little bit the Crowdcast solution, because I like that solution, like a lot of the Google clusters, I guess, because it opens up, in fact, the Hangout functionality where previously only Google Plus people could actually join the Hangouts, and also Google accounts, people with a Google account. But now through Crowdcast, Sai has, in fact, who is the CEO of Crowdcast, they have opened up the live streaming application, in fact, for audiences coming from a Twitter platform and even Facebook platform. So this is a huge asset. If we look at Crowdcast, what is it? It's a kind of portal system, because for me it's more a portal system which is not dependent of any kind of live streaming platform. So it means you can of course, and we do it, we love it to do it with our Hangouts, to embed them in the Crowdcast portal system, but you can also live stream with Ustream or other streaming applications, and I can imagine that it would even be possible to put a Blab on a Crowdcast, perhaps. I haven't tested yet, but we could imagine that. But for me, the Crowdcast solution is really it will assemble all those live streaming portals, and that's what I like about the Crowdcast solution. In fact, it's great for taking all those platforms together, and in fact to be able to how would I say, to put different sessions together on your Crowdcast. So it means that you can actually even prepare your courses in a Crowdcast. You could decide, okay, I'm going to put a training session. I'm going to put multiple training sessions, excuse me, but also put a Hangout on air for an after class. And okay, what is also great is that you can that you also have a complete commenting stream on the right, on that portal. I have prepared a kind of a demo of a Crowdcast, but which is a little bit different than we have experienced till today. I don't know, Zara, if I can show this to the audience. Is that a good idea?
Yeah, let me do one comment from Lee Rickler here. Lee says, Hangouts is Blab for adults.
Well, yeah, yes.
So, well, it's more controlled and it's more ever so reservedly. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today. And thank you for posting your introduction too. You're certainly allowed. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm sorry. So yes, absolutely. Let's do a demo of Crowdcast because I like Crowdcast.
So I'm going to screen share the Hangout. So you're going to do that here, screen share. Okay, so in fact, what I would like to show, and before I do the share, I would like to point out that Crowdcast is also one of the only live streaming portals where you can also actually monetize your Crowdcast. So that's something that we haven't seen yet on other platforms, where we can integrate live streaming like HOAs and Ustream and other streaming channels, in fact. So that's something that I would like to show, to point out. But I'm not going to focus on the monetized Crowdcast, but more what I would like to show, in fact, is other ways to distribute information with Crowdcast. And the first example that I have prepared, in fact, is a Blab. Yeah, why not? A recorded Blab that I have embedded in Crowdcast. So this is a beautiful example. I can play just to give you an idea of how it is like. So this is an example of a recorded blab about the Raspberry Pi, which I had with Christian Jouret, a friend. And when I received a recorded blab, I decided to put it up into a Crowdcast because I thought it would be great to show how you can, in fact, put content which might help you educating your students with testimonials which you have recorded in a blab. So this is the first example which I wanted to show. In fact, another kind of embedded I did in Crowdcast is one where you could actually put a kind of mashup. I don't know if you have experience with mashups where you have, in fact, Zara, on one side the presentation, and on the other side the person who's doing the talking head, in fact.
Yeah.
And this is an example which I did with Present.me. I don't know if you know the environment where you can, in fact, put a kind of presentation up. And where you have the slides appearing also in the video. And so I can put this one as well, just to give you an idea how it is like.
So I have a question about this one.
Yes, just
and I like that, and it's great, because you have your whole presentation and it's all flowing. At the time that you are presenting that presentation embedded in Crowdcast, there's a stream going on of people who are attending your Crowdcast event.
Mm-hmm.
So are you still able to respond to those comments within Crowdcast while the presentation itself is playing?
Well, in fact, I don't understand well the question, Zara. You mean that?
Okay, so the presentation's playing, right?
Yes.
And in your example, there isn't a conversation going over on the right-hand side, but say there were. Mm-hmm. Say there were 10 people there and they were all commenting on the presentation. Do you have the ability, while that presentation is playing, to interact with the comment stream?
Well, normally, yes. I don't see why. Okay. Once it's playing, so your cursor is free to go to the, say, something nice field, and you can actually interact with the students. Why not? That's perfectly possible. Yeah.
So for a course presentation, this is really nice. So this is Present of Me inside Crowdcast, which you can monetize for people to pay for a course, right? And here's the course, and then they can comment. So as a host, the reason I asked that question is, as a host, you're still able to interact with your attendees while the presentation is going on, because that part is pre-recorded, correct?
That's right. This is pre-recorded, and that's the reason why you can still interact with your students. Yes, yes, or with your audience in general.
Right, and then Lee has a question, and I think the answer is yes. He says the mashup was the video put together before embedding in Crowdcast. Yes.
Yes, it's another environment where you're going to upload a presentation. It might even be a Google Drive presentation, and then afterwards, once you have uploaded a presentation, you can perform the recording, and then the system, the Present.me solution, will in fact do their magic work, let's say, and they will in fact team up the presentation with the video, and so you will have a beautiful video with, on the left, the presentation, and also the strip where you can jump through the slides. So you can go from one slide to another. And on the right, you have, in fact, the video, which builds trust because you see also the person talking to you. So that's also great. And that's something which I like, in fact.
I like that very much. And I remember I was telling you in the green room that I was working with an author who wanted to do just that. And at that time, this is a few months ago, and at that time, that solution wasn't available. So I really like that.
Yeah. So
I wanted to once again stress about Crowdcast. One of the things I like about it is that it is cross-platform accessible, so that that people, whatever platform they're the most familiar with, comfortable with, etc., can come in as audience members from with their Twitter, with their Facebook, or their Google Plus ID.
Yeah.
And I think it makes it very accessible when you're building an audience, that people don't have to come in, or they don't have a Twitter account but they're on Facebook. They can come in that way, or they they don't want to have anything to do with Google Plus, but they can come in through Twitter, etc.
Yes.
So I really like that from the standpoint of building your audience. And then Lee Rickler has another technical question. Lee's on a roll today. Why not display the CC demo on the blue screen behind you? Would look awesome. So there's your tech for the day. So
that's a green screen. That's a blue screen, green screen feature that she asks. Well, yeah, that's a good idea. I will keep it in mind. But I thank her for the suggestion. Yeah. Okay, I will do that. Next time.
And then Lee has another question. Whoops, where'd he go now?
Yes.
So let's make this clear. So within Crowdcast, I could upload a presentation and a video separately and then play them both together?
No. I need to explain that a little bit. Yeah. In fact, the solution that I have used is called present.me. And when you go onto that website, you have, in fact, you need to sign in, of course, with an account. But once you've signed in, you will be able to. I think you have 14 days free usage of the environment, and in fact, you can make different kinds of presentations. But you can. One is, for example, make a presentation where you combine the presentation with a video. And that's what I call a mashup. You can also opt only for a video, nothing more. You can also combine a video with only audio, so no imagery then, no video, but only audio, so only an MP3 file that you can upload on that moment. So you have different scenarios. And here I have opted for I think the most interesting one. It's where you upload first a presentation file. It might be a PDF or a PowerPoint file. So sorry, a PowerPoint or a Google Slides file. And afterwards, you're going, in fact, through that system. They provide a record button, and then you can record your session, in fact. And you will decide when the slides change, and it will, in fact, do the mashup by himself. And afterwards, you will be returned to a portal where you can, in fact, consult the result of the recording, and they will provide you also with the necessary code in order to embed it into Crowdcast. So it's not rocket science. It's straightforward, and you can very straightforward or download. Even if you have the paid version, you can also download the file, the MP4. But I prefer, in fact, repurposing this all into a Crowdcast, because okay, you have more versatility. You put more, instead of always having an example recorded YouTube videos, you could actually combine this with this feature, or eventually with a Blab, or eventually with other things as well that I would like to show you.
We're closing on the end of our time, so let's go on with Crowdcast, because I know you have a number of things to share about it, because it's quite a versatile wrapper.
Yeah, I'm going to show the last thing, if I may, and then I close this. No, two things that I would like to show, in fact, but I will go very fast. This one is an embed of a Google slide. So we forget that we're working in Google, in Gmail or in Google for Work, but with Google Slides, you can make beautiful presentations, which you can also put in your Crowdcast. So this is a kind of presentations that you can make, and which you can simply put just to animate your Crowdcast session. So this is, I think, very interesting to know that we can do that. You make your presentation in Google Slides, and you can have it up here. And if you use the animation functionality, which is embedded in Google Slides, well, you can make beautiful little interactive presentations. It's a little bit multimedia. And then the last session I would like to show, if I may, and then I close Crowdcast, is in fact something which is called, that I call takeaways. So imagine yourself that you have documents, videos, imagery that you want to share with your students. Well, in fact, you could organize a session within Crowdcast where you put all that available for your students. And it might be a PDF document. So when you click on this document, you will in fact download the PDF document. Or it might be a video. If you click on that, you will in fact launch the video, or in fact a photo. So this is, I think, a beautiful example of how you can organize takeaways in your live streaming event, put it available in Crowdcast for your audience. So this rounds up a little bit what I wanted to show with Crowdcast. I showed you everything except live streaming, because we know how to live stream our events on Crowdcast, but I wanted to show some other things that we can do by using this beautiful tool, because I love this. I love this.
Are you on Crowdcast Live?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's two things I'd like to point out, and Lee has a question and we'll answer it in a minute. There's two things I'd like to point out about Crowdcast for hosting live events. Okay. One is the ability for your audience members to ask questions, not necessarily in the conversation stream on the right-hand side, but there's a section in Crowdcast called questions. And so the audience members can ask questions of the host, or the host in the panel, or wherever it is, however you set up your show. And then when that question is answered, the host presses a little button that says answer. Mm-hmm. And two things happen. One, the question comes up on the screen so everybody can see the question. And as the question is answered live, then it is time-stamped. So if someone comes later to the Crowdcast event and they're really searching for the answer to that particular question, they can click on the question. It stays there in Crowdcast, and it takes them exactly to that point in the video. So for doing presentations, it's really great. So what happens?
That's a time-stamping feature. Oh, sorry. That's a time-stamping feature that we're talking about?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So,
Then
yeah.
Lee has another question.
Yes.
It's why not just show the Google slide as a presentation rather than embed it into Crowdcast? Sorry, but I'm not seeing the reason to use it. So you want to elaborate on that a little?
Well, the advantage here is that you're preparing your sessions, so you don't need to do anything. The students can go on their own rhythm from one session to another. So instead of providing them with the URL to the presentation, you could actually put it within the Crowdcast. And it's also interesting in order to for paid Crowdcast. When you have interesting material, when they click on it, it goes outside the Crowdcast solution. So they can do whatever they want with the, and here, since it is within the Crowdcast solution, okay, people have paid for it and they can download it. So is it, I guess it's...
And that is their access, correct? They
that
go
is,
to that
yeah.
paid for Crowdcast session in order to access the materials.
Right, right. You could even password protect. I didn't show it because it would take us too far, but these takeaways, you could even password protect them if you like, so that people even need to have a password. You could actually say during the session, the live session, and the password is, and you give the password, and then when they go to the session, they fill in the password and they can access the takeaways. So that's also an example.
You know what? That's really nice because the old way of doing it, say, you could have the password protected information, but it would be on your website. So someone would have to go somewhere else in order to access that extra information. So,
or wait for an email, for example, with a link and a password.
Exactly. Yes.
But here you can actually provide it in the training and pre-record even the password. So and say, okay, if you type that in, you will be able to access the collateral. And I want to close with one thing. I'm going to refresh the page, Zara. I hope that this worked.
Okay.
It's the first time that I try this here in a live hangout.
Okay, we're at Crowdcast.
I'm refreshing the page. And what do we see? While we were talking, I've taken a picture and I've put it in as takeaway. So you see up here the picture.
Oh, I do.
Your beautiful taken here, and I've opened it already. And this is the picture that I've taken, let's say 3 minutes ago, and I've put it as a takeaway in the show. So,
that's quite fantastic.
Yeah, it's a little magic. So okay. I'm going to stop the presentation now. I'm going to stop the sharing. This was a little bit the things that I wanted to showcase during this session, because I really wanted to stress that Crowdcast is much more than a live streaming portal. I hope I convinced you with that.
It is, and Sai keeps adding functionalities. It's really quite impressive. Yes, so and I especially like your emphasis on doing courses and monetizing, which is a feature available with Crowdcast that you can't get anywhere else. The other thing, especially if you're doing a series of presentations as a course, say you have a course that's set up for every Friday for the next 6 weeks or whatever it is, you can put those all in Livestream and say, you're charging $4.97 for the course. Those people then who sign up for the course have access to all of those.
Right. I think Maloney has already put a paid course, a Crowdcast course available. She's, I think, the first to do that. So we will, I think, in the future see more and more people using these paid features and also multi-session features, because what you're doing is, in fact, you're daisy chaining different sessions one after the other.
Yes.
And yeah, what is great is you can, in fact, prepare a complete course. And okay, it's a lot of upfront work, but afterwards, people will pay for it and will take advantage. And in fact, you could, at the last session, already redirect them to the following paid Crowdcast.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so,
Jan, we need to stop. We've kind of pushed the limits of our time here, and I like to stay with that. Otherwise, it's going to be a Blab instead of a Zap. So,
I would like to thank you for taking me in the show. So,
it was fabulous. Thank you so much. So, and thank you all the Zapsters for being here, and continue to post questions in the comment stream, because we'll both be around later. I have to go away for a while. I have 3 clients waiting for some stuff, but I'll be back later and talk and jump in the comment stream. So thank you everyone for being here. Midweek Zap, and we'll see you next time. Thank you, Johan. Thank you very, very much.
See you all. Bye.
Ciao.